are we live?
Yeah, we're going live.
Okay.
And we're sending data to Glocker Realty and Insurance. I can see that happening on
Excellent.
Facebook.
It's a good start.
It is. It's a good start. Sorry we're late. We had some problems. I just see it came up. Glocker Realty Insurance is live
Okay.
on an online event. The Cast
Awesome.
at Glocker. That's the online event.
That's us.
And we're sending
Yeah.
some data to Matt Green at Glocker, Matt Kennedy at Glocker. So you can go on to Matt Kennedy's Facebook page that he never goes on to. Matt, you have 95 people who want to be your friend on Facebook. You might want to link with them. And then we're also sending data to YouTube at Glocker Realty and Insurance.
Okay.
I just got an update from Glocker Realty and Insurance. It says it sounds good.
Awesome. Well, we're a little late, but it sounds good at least,
We're a
right?
little bit late because of software issues.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens sometimes.
We were just talking about it. It's the joys of live show, a
Yeah.
live stream, right?
So,
If this was a studio show, we'd have sat here, everybody would have taken a break, we'd have got the software going, and then we would have just started recording.
so what we do is we just advertise the show as 6-ish.
6-ish.
Yeah, ish, with a
Right.
big ish on it.
Right.
Yeah, we'll be there. Just
It's
you know,
live.
I got to admit, I'm a late person anyway, so I'm usually late to every event I go to. So,
Right.
hey, what's the difference?
Jennifer Ann is our producer.
Yes, she helped us out. So did
Yeah.
Jill Diffenderfer.
Right.
She helped us out too. So anyway, we're here now. We're here. We're live. We're the Cast at Glocker. This is Matt Green.
Matt Green at
Okay.
Glocker Real Estate.
And I'm Jeff Frederick at Glocker Real Estate. And we have with us today, we have two guests today, one at a time. We're going to start with Alyssa Yacobachi.
Yes.
All right, I got the name right.
Yes, you
All
did.
right. She is a student at, what's the school again? I'm sorry.
Perkiomen School.
the Perky
Perkiomen School. Okay.
Perk
All right.
Prep.
She called it Perk Prep. That threw me off.
That threw me
was-
off
I
too
was
because
totally
we're
confused.
old heads.
Yeah.
I always called it the Perky Home School.
Do you live in Boyertown?
Yes.
Yes,
live
you
in
live. Do you
Boyertown.
live in Boyertown? You went to
Yeah, I went to Boyertown Elementary and Boyertown West.
right,
Yeah.
and now you're doing a fundraiser campaign for Student of the Year.
Yeah, for Students of the Year through the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
which is awesome. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so
While me and Matt just sit here and take a deep breath.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mostly Matt though.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.
I just stare at him as he's trying to get us.
Yeah,
on.
that helps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so the mission of the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is to cure blood cancers while improving the quality of life for patients and their families. And so every year, this organization launches its Students of the Year campaign. And I was nominated as a candidate for this campaign. So it started on January 7th, and it extends until February 26th. And during these 7 weeks, I will be raising money and awareness for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society.
Okay.
And at the end of these 7 weeks, we have a grand finale event, which is usually in person. It's usually a big formal event, but this year it's going to be virtual.
You can
as
still
most
dress
other
up in your
things.
gown and everything,
Yeah,
right?
and sit at my kitchen table.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Sit on the couch.
Yep. You can have socks on. They're not going to see your feet anyway, but
But yeah, at this event, they will announce the Student of the Year, who is the student that raised the most money for LLS,
which we hope is Alyssa Yacobachi.
which we do hope is me.
We're trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're named Student of the Year, and they get a scholarship.
Oh, excellent.
So I've been working really hard to prepare for this campaign. I've been really trying to get the Boyertown community especially involved. I have reached out to many local businesses and restaurants and such, and I have gotten some responses back, and many have actually donated silent auction items
Okay.
for my campaign because, as I mentioned, at Grand Finale, they're going to announce the winner and everything towards the end, obviously, but in the beginning of the event, they'll have a silent auction raffle. And so the items that I've collected will be auctioned off, and then that money will go towards my campaign as kind of the last money raising type thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I've gotten a lot of silent auction items from different businesses around the Boyertown area, which is great. And I've really been trying to spread awareness within the community and really get the community involved. I've reached out to Building a Better Boyertown.
Excellent.
And they've, shared my link and different things like that.
Very good.
Also, I reached out to the local Boyertown Times, and they posted an article about my campaign as well. And they also posted that in the Mercury, which was great. And then this past weekend, I had an event at the Sunnybrook Ballroom in Pottstown.
Yep.
Oh, that was your event?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I know
Yeah,
the drive-in.
so-
The drive-in movies.
Yeah, so
Very
with
cool.
the help of Mr. Galati, who, shout out, he's really great, one of the nicest people.
Go Chuck.
He helped me set up this drive-in movie, and we played The Incredibles, the Disney movie The Incredibles, and the event was really successful. It was really fun. We had a pretty good turnout.
That's a great
yeah,
What's that?
The Incredibles.
yeah.
It's been so long since I saw it, dude. And I probably fall asleep. So every time I watch a movie with my kids, they're always like, Dad, you fall asleep like 10 minutes in the movie. I'm trying to do a better job. And as they've gotten older, the movies are a little more appealing to
Yeah.
me. I know for a fact I fell asleep
Oh, I
during
can
The
do those kid
Incredibles.
movies all the time. I love them.
Yeah, it's one of
Yeah.
my favorite Disney movies. That's why I wanted to play that one.
You got that one?
Yeah, we also, to advertise, we said, come be incredible and help the fight against blood cancer. So it's
Yeah,
kind of good for the
nice.
pun, too.
Yep.
Gotcha.
But
Did
yeah,
anybody show up in costume? Did you get anybody dressed up as Mr. Incredible or anything?
No, we didn't, unfortunately.
No hardcore fans out there?
unfortunately not. But yeah, that event was really helpful to both spread awareness, and the ticket sales are going toward my campaign as well, which is great.
That's great. That is
So-
great.
Yeah.
Hey, I just want to jump in there real quick and let everybody know that Alyssa is trying to spread her message. And the best way to do that, if you're watching the show, either live or later on, is to like it, comment on it, and share it. Share it out to your news feed, share it out to a group that you're a member of. That will help her spread the message. The more people we have commenting on the show, and it can be anything as just easy as hi,
Right.
yo,
Any comment.
any comment. Matt, Jeff,
I
you
like the
guys are
yo.
bald. You
I
can
want,
say
I want
whatever
as
you
many
want.
yo's as we can get today.
Yo,
Yeah.
whatever. How Yin's doing?
Yins.
We get a couple of Yinzers
Yins?
on the show.
Oh, my-
Hey, yous guys.
That's some, yeah, there's Philly
Throw
boys
that
on the
in
show.
there.
Yeah.
So anyway, just put the comments in the box. We do monitor them. If you have a question or if you want to give Alyssa a shout out, do that. We did get a shout out for you. I'll let you know.
And so Alyssa's mom's here, not
Right.
on camera right
Not
now.
on camera. She was too
Did you share
scared.
that link?
Scared.
Okay, so she's going to jump on there and share the link
Yeah.
to help Alyssa out in her fundraising.
Yeah, so
Kim Cashman Lyons was saying hello. She's proud of you.
that's my aunt. Love you.
Aunt Kim.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is.
And then Patricia just put up the event link.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to donate
Yeah,
to the
so
cause,
right. So that's my personal fundraising page link, and that's the easiest way to donate and support me. Just right directly through there. If you just click on it, it'll take you right to the page.
okay.
And I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I'm sure our producer will put up the link tomorrow.
Yeah.
As
So
well.
tomorrow,
But I mean, on
morning,
a separate thing, you know.
yeah, it'll be in the description of the show
Mm-hmm.
with links to Alyssa's page.
Okay.
So that you can jump right over to there, make your donation, and help her become
Student
winner.
of the year.
the
Yep.
student of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
Ding,
that's
ding,
the
ding.
goal.
I was almost student of the year.
For what?
I don't know. That was a big.
I think
I was far from student of the year.
Here is my
But I was
statistic.
nice.
I'm pretty sure that I had the most detentions
Really?
out of any graduating senior of the class of 1992 St. Pius X High School.
You
I'm
shouldn't
pretty
be throwing
sure
that date out
I was
there.
the leader of the pack for detentions.
I have to admit that is more impressive.
Is that impressive?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I don't
I didn't
have any,
fit into the mold very well.
I don't have any
That's
good
what I'm trying to
stats like
say.
that.
But Alyssa, probably not a leader in detentions,
A leader in general.
a leader in
Yes.
our community.
Absolutely.
No joking, a leader in our community. Help her out, help her raise money. Do you have any other events coming up? Is there something else that we can direct people to in the short term?
So yeah, I have a few things in mind, not set in stone yet. But I'll definitely let you know about those.
Yeah, keep us
Yeah.
up to date,
Please.
and we will try to
Yeah.
post all your
I was
events. and-
focusing on the drive-in this past weekend, which is great.
Right.
But yeah,
Did you cover everything you wanted to?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I could talk a little bit about the history of the campaign in
Why don't you do
Boyertown.
that? Give some people a little bit of background.
Yeah.
We put your links up, your links in the description. There's going to be more links tomorrow. Tell them the history of what's going on and give them a good pitch. They
Okay,
need to know.
so the first ever Students of the Year campaign in Boyertown was in 2019, and the candidates were Abby Detweiler, Sarah Drakis, and Audrey Swartley, and they raised over $18,000 in 2019, which is great. And
Yeah.
then they nominated Allie Pioli, Laura O'Connor, and Angelina DeSantis. And last year they had their team, and I was actually a team member on their team. So I was kind of assisting with that fundraising and that awareness piece. And then they ended up raising over $30,000 for LLS
Wow.
last year, which is crazy.
That's a lot of money. That's good.
So then this past summer, they nominated me as the candidate. So ever since then until kickoff, which was, again, January 7th, I've been really preparing for this campaign.
Excellent.
And I'm really excited. The team and my campaign is off to a really good start. And although I can't say how much we've raised so far since
all
it is a
hush-hush, right?
competition, but yeah, we've been off to a good start, and I'm really excited to be on,
Right.
raising more awareness and hoping to get more community members involved. So if any businesses are watching and they're
Yes.
interested in supporting me, or anyone in general, you can reach out, and also go to my link, which is posted in the comments.
Yep, it's on the
On this
screen.
live,
It's
on
in
the
the
screen.
comments. It's going to be in the description tomorrow. Multiple ways to figure
Yeah.
out where it is. Now, you made a good segue because we have something for you from another Boyertown business to help you raise that money, because you got to help this girl get over $30,000, right? That's the mark to beat, right?
That is the mark to beat.
Boyertown can't be slacking.
Nope.
Come on, folks.
Well, thank you very much.
So that, yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Jeff.
You.
You want me to do it? That's
Yeah.
a gift certificate to Gramia's. I don't know how much it's for. You can open that up
I
and
think
see
it's
25.
$25 gift certificate to Gramia's. They've been a guest on this show. They help us support local, so we wanted to give that to you
Yep.
so that you can use that to raise some money.
That would be
All right.
great. Thank you. I could definitely use this for the silent auction.
There you go.
Perfect.
Do whatever you
Perfect.
need to do with it, man. Help this girl hit
Yes.
this mark.
She's going to be the winner,
Student of the
but
year.
she needs help in order to do it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a good cause.
It's a great cause. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have some statistics about LLS
Lay 'em on
of
us.
how great of a cause it really is.
You got a couple more minutes. Lay it on us.
So obviously coronavirus has affected everyone in the world, but especially cancer patients, because other obvious extreme compromises with their health, so they're very isolated. And this past year, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society had set up a COVID-19 patient financial aid program assistance, and this program launched on April 1st. And ended on June 23rd, and it provided $250 to eligible blood cancer patients experiencing financial hardships during the pandemic. And this assistance was more focused on non-medical expenses such as food and other household items, just to really support those
Yeah.
patients.
Nice.
And I mean, overall, LS has provided for $0.8 million in assistance through this COVID-19 kind of relief program. And in Pennsylvania specifically, 916 patients were assisted, and the assistance that was provided was around $230,000. So
Yeah, and those patients
is
are going
great.
through a lot.
Yeah,
So
for
any
sure.
little bit counts.
for sure,
Right.
especially
Yep.
during this time, it's really hard.
Absolutely.
Sure. And listen, I know this. I don't know a number, but I do know this. Giving is up. Giving is up through this COVID-19. So
Yeah.
people are finding themselves to be more generous and
Right.
wanting to help out. So if this is a cause that you can get behind or you have some feeling towards, we've just given you a person that you can link up with in order to help make a difference right here
Yeah.
in the community.
All right.
Well, thank you very much for having
Thank you,
me
Alyssa.
on.
I'm
It's
glad you
great.
could come in, and I hope people can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Jeff, you going to help?
All right.
I will help her. Yep.
I'm going to grab the wipes here since we're sharing a microphone. Everybody's got their mask on, but it can't. Please stay. If you're so inclined, you can watch the rest of the show. If you have any questions for our next guest, keep them coming. Thanks for tuning in. Phyllis Cushman is very proud of Alyssa and her work in helping to raise money for leukemia. Thanks, Phyllis. Is that another aunt?
Grandma.
That's a grandmom. Nice. Grandmoms love watching the show. Moms love watching the show. Jeff, does your mom watch the show?
They do. Yeah.
My mom watches the show. Is your mom watching?
My mother is technically challenged, so no.
No.
She will
Maybe
watch it on
somebody
a
else.
later date.
You'll show it to her later.
I might.
Look, Mom, I was on Facebook. So next up,
We have Jen Reinford. Did I say your name correct?
Absolutely.
All right, because you know what? We did not practice that before you came on.
Very good.
So she is restoring an old grist mill, the Glendale Flour Mill in Boyertown, well, Douglas Township, in Boyertown, Pennsylvania, right?
Correct. Yes.
And I'm just going to move the mic a little closer.
and while you're doing that, I put up the slideshow. So there's some pictures, and that's going to scroll through while we're talking. And then we also have the logo that you guys sent us for the Glendale Flour Mill.
Great.
So the flour mill, before we get into the history of it, because that's what we're going to get into for sure.
Yep.
I would like to kind of tell us where the location is, so people know, because people, I'm sure, maybe have driven past it before.
Sure. Most likely, we're in Douglas Township, Berks County, and the area we're closest to is actually Pine Forge.
Okay.
Chances are a lot of people have ridden the Colebrookdale Railroad, and the railroad borders the entire property. So the property runs from the Ironstone Park down to the Pennypacker Run, which is a trestle where there used to be a lot of ice farming back in the day.
Ice farming.
Yes.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, cutting ice
Yes.
for ice houses.
Wow.
I'll give you a little bit of local history too, and people might know this. If you go a little bit further downstream from where they are, you'll come to the Ice House Deli on the Manatawny in Pottstown.
Is that where that comes from?
That's where that comes from. That was an ice house, and they used to cut the ice off of the Manatawny right in front of where Ice House Deli is now.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they were probably doing that all along the Ironstone and the Manatawny.
Yes, yes. And Pennypacker Run actually had their ice stored at the next mill down, which was known as the Nagel Mill.
Right? Okay.
So this mill was built, the date stone is 1838 on this mill. There's been some talk that there may have been a mill there previously and this was rebuilt, but to this day, I can't find any documentation on that.
Right.
So we're going by the date stone in 1838.
And you were saying earlier that, again, another one of the side effects of COVID is that a lot of the historical research that you were doing has been shut down because you can't get face-to-face with some of these people at the historical societies. The libraries are closed. It's hard to get in, and that's kind of slowing you down, right?
Yes, we literally purchased this property 4 days before the world shut down. So we were fortunate that we got the purchase, everything was written in stone and complete. However, to get to the historical societies and all, we had to wait, quite a time. But Pottstown Historical Society, Boyertown, and the Berks County Conservancy have all been a tremendous help. And
That's good to hear.
Yeah, I mean, the resources and the information that these folks have is really, it's kind of untapped by a lot of people, and it's kind of sad because as people get older and the information that they have goes with them when they go.
Right.
Right.
So, and part of that, part of our goal too with having this mill, the mill itself is about 30 by 50, and there's 3 stories plus
It's
the
big.
basement.
I drove past it.
It is big,
It's very
and
big.
you don't sometimes realize it until you're actually standing next to it or inside it. But we are looking forward to having a, kind of like a historical floor or a room or somewhere we can store, items from the Douglas Berks area. Being right next to Pine Forge Academy and the Thomas Rudder Mansion, we're just surrounded by so much history that,
Right.
People, I just don't think they're really aware of it.
Do you know if they mentioned the tour on the train ride?
I have not had the time to ride the train, so I'm not sure.
I don't know
they
if
do
they
give a lot of
mentioned that
information.
mill. They do. They do.
Yeah.
And now it's been a little while since I've been on the train ride, but take some of the historical information they give you with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's been a little bumped up, I guess you could say.
Well,
So, are you saying that George Washington did not cross the Ironstone Creek?
I don't.
Is that what I'm just kidding.
I've studied a lot of American
I'm just
history. I've never found any documentation that George Washington crossed the Ironstone Creek. Now, he was in this area
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
And I can
I know
point
on the
you-
tour-
I can point the places. I can show you even some of the roads that he traveled on.
Yeah.
Legit.
I know on the
I
tour.
don't
There's
know
one
about that.
place that they mentioned that he stayed at.
It's right down by where they.
That's what
it's
I
right
thought,
Down by where
yeah.
they live.
that was the Swavely, or actually George Hatfield's hotel tavern, actually, and it was also known as the Washington Hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, a beautiful
What?
building. I'm not
No,
sure.
Jeff. I don't think so.
No.
No, I think they took liberty. That's the way I'll say it. They took liberty
Okay.
with that section of the history. Yes, I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
I'd like to see that documentation if it does exist. Let's put it that way. I've never seen it. So anyway, I digress.
No, I know. I've heard I've been on the tour, and it's like I said, it's a great ride. You
It
get to
is,
see
it
the
is.
whole
It's
property
beautiful.
from Ironstone down to Pennypacker and more. And interestingly enough, newspapers.com is a huge resource for me because, like I said, we can't get to many places physically and meet people. But the gentleman that last ran this as a fully functional grist mill had a feed store in Pottstown,
Okay.
supposedly in the Farrah building.
Yeah, and you said that, and I gotta think about where the Farrah Foss building is. I know at one point in time that was in my brain, but I just can't think of it right now.
Somewhere around 165 North Charlotte. Not that I've researched it a lot, but
Okay.
supposedly in either the front or back of that building, that's
Okay.
where the feed was sold. And if you take a look at the Glendale Flour Mills Facebook page, you'll see on there that there is one copy of a receipt from 1918, which I guess history-wise is kind of new compared to the mill being built in 1838. But currently, that is the only documentation that we have, which is part of the reason we're reaching out to the public to say, hey, check your attics, please, your basements, wherever you might have something from grandma, my grandpa, because this was a merchant mill. So this gentleman was milling products for farmers anywhere around this area. So from Pottstown and maybe into Boyertown.
Sure.
And so that's the kind of stuff we're looking for.
I saw that receipt on the Facebook page. It's
And
pretty
the
neat.
receipt
Yeah.
is on the slideshow that's scrolling through now, so people can take a look at it. It's pretty neat. It talks about selling potatoes and hay and flour. Do you know what a cake was? Do you have any
An
concept
oil
of,
cake?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that I'm 100% sure
Sure.
on this, but the little bit that I've read was that they were made from linseed.
Okay.
And that these oil cakes were pressed to get the oil from them, and then the cakes were apparently sold as like a protein booster for livestock feeds.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So you
Makes
get
sense.
two
I get it.
products
Yeah.
from
Right.
the one.
I got it.
Yep. And this Mr. Wegener, who owned this place last as a functioning mill, he actually went into business with a gentleman named Charles Wickersham, and he was from Pottstown, and he
I like
had
the
a
name.
florist in Pottstown. So together they purchased the Nagel Mill, which is the next mill down. They also purchased Fritz's Mill, which is the next mill north on the Ironstone, and the creamery, which I don't know if a lot of people realize that there's an old creamery building back there on Creamery Road that cuts from Sunset down into the Ironstone Creek area. And so, as part of the research, trying to go back into deeds and things, there's a lot of stumbling blocks, because even with this gentleman, with his name being spelled Wagoner, his real name was Wegener. It was spelled differently.
Okay.
So, there's been a lot of challenges, but we also were fortunate enough to get from the family the photograph that you see on the Facebook page and in this. I'm not sure if this is in the slideshow.
It's
or
not.
It's
the
not, and I
slideshow.
did not see that on the Facebook page
Okay,
either.
well, yeah, I mean, I was kind of holding
looking
on
for
to
it,
this
Jen.
little golden nugget here to put
Right.
out, which, I'll
What's the
do
name
shortly.
of the Facebook page so people could possibly hop over there and take a
All
look
you have
at
to
it?
do is search Glendale Flour Mills. That's
And
the
that's
name of the
gonna take
page.
you. Yeah.
Yes. There's also GlendaleFlourMills.com that I am currently building, but I'm not releasing all of that until it's completely
till it's ready to
completely
go.
done. Yeah. So our goal is to keep this place around for another 200 years. We do have a GoFundMe page, and if you just go to GoFundMe and look up Glendale Flour Mills, any property will take maintenance, but a historical property takes an enormous amount
Yeah,
of
no
maintenance.
kidding.
And a lot of the issue is because you have to find skilled laborers that know how to repair things, in the right way.
Right, the way they used to do it. yeah.
Right. And thankfully, I have a husband who can literally do anything. So he's been working extremely hard down there with, some friends of the family, and with my kids. Everybody's involved.
Now, at the end of the day, what's your end goal for this? What's your concept for this property and for this building?
Well, ultimately, like I said, we would like to have some kind of a history repository there. So we intend to display, we do have an original millstone from this place.
Okay.
Because they actually had 3 sets of millstones in there, which meant there were 6 total.
Okay.
We were fortunate enough to get one of them before we even owned the property. So we would.
How did you get your hands on that?
Well, we actually live across the street. And when the property was up for sale, my husband went down at Christmas time and said, "We'd love to own it, but we can't right now. Can we buy the stone?" So that
So
was
one piece at a time you bought it.
Exactly. And we started with the smallest first, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, my husband, he had that all set up for me for Christmas, including some pictures from the 40s. Pictures with the dam was still intact. There was a footbridge there across the tail race and things like that. And so that was a really awesome way to start. And, after being patient for 9 or so years, now we own the whole thing. And, we love taking care of it. And we really enjoy sharing it. Like I said, if we can have some type of a, a small history or learning center there for kids and,
Right.
people to come and, learn about the milling process.
Now, is there any of the mill works left besides the stone, or any of the gears, or any of that stuff still in there?
Yes, there are several pieces, and some of them are extremely large. There's
Right.
a lot of belting.
Yeah.
There's chutes. There's pieces that we don't know what the heck they are, but
Right.
they're all hand beaded, and the beams are hand hewn.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are sawn, but just an absolutely gorgeous place. The stonework is incredible.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we intend on putting back as many of the parts that we can,
Right.
that don't interfere with, people walking around in there. And so, you can display the functionality and people can get an idea of how things worked.
Right. Some of those belts were used as gears, and they drove different cogs.
Yes.
So depending on the size and the length of the belt, it would turn the mill at higher or slower speeds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the one thing we would really like to have that we don't is the original water wheel.
Yeah, that's probably long gone.
Yeah. And,
You might dig it up in the backyard or a piece of it somewhere.
there's a lot of things that float down from, God knows where, but, currently we're still looking for, like a major treasure, and the whole
Yeah.
building is a treasure, but
Right.
we're still looking for some clues, in the dirt and in the stone floor of the basement, because that's where most of the action happened. But we have a lot of drive shafts, and we have augers that were moving the flour, and it's impressive to see that equipment, because just to know that it was all made by hand. And
Yeah, every piece of it.
yeah,
Right.
I mean, some of the things that we need a tractor to do, you look at this building, which is easily 60 feet tall, and, it's like, how did they get the stones there? And, it's a pretty amazing feat to have something like that, which is why we think it's important to keep it around.
Yeah, and show the history. It helps preserve the history of
Yeah.
the area. It's super neat. I mean, I could talk about this
You
stuff
could.
all day. Well, you're into history
Oh yeah,
too.
yeah.
We
I
both
love it.
are.
I love it.
Jeff and I both. I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about the history of the area too.
Yep.
And not for nothing, it's a nice ride back through there too.
It's beautiful.
It
And
is
a
a
lot of
beautiful
people,
ride.
it's
The
not
trellis
far.
and everything there.
Yeah. It's really not far off the beaten path, but a lot of people don't even know it exists.
Right. Now, what's the name of the park up there? Isn't the park above you? Isn't that called Mill Park? Or
It's Ironstone Park.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's a nice park. I've been up there.
Beautiful park. Yeah.
It's a great place to go take a walk. I fish on the Ironstone and the Manatawny there.
Yes.
Before the show, we were talking about that. I
Yep.
don't want to give too much away. But there's some nice fishing holes in and along
Yes.
there.
Yes, there are. We have there's a couple shiners and things out back, and we do have a mink actually, which is nice to see,
Right.
because there's not a lot of, wildlife other than the turkeys and the deer that you see.
Right.
We have coyotes also.
Yeah, yep.
And I don't know how many mink will be around.
I've seen heron. I've seen heron up
Oh,
there.
they're everywhere.
I've seen hawks. All
Yep.
different kinds of
We
great
do.
stuff
There's a
up there.
bald eagle as well.
Yes.
I know.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of
I've
people
s-
that
yeah,
ride
I've seen
Colbert
that
Dell.
bald eagle kind of flies. I've seen that bald eagle between Pottstown, down around where the Manatawny flows into the Schuylkill,
Yes.
and then I've seen it up further, like up around your way.
Oh, yeah.
And I also saw it up at Spots Mill,
Okay.
and there was an osprey flying around this spring too.
Yes,
Did you see that?
Yes, and so did my chickens. They're very
Nothing gets
aware
past you,
of the
man.
osprey. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the osprey, it's a big bird.
No,
It's
yeah,
as
they are
big as an
big.
eagle,
Yeah.
but their wings are shaped different. And once you can recognize the shape of that wing, their wings kind of form a W. Mm-hmm. It's a very distinctive bird, and they're super cool. You don't see them as much around here as you do in other places, but there was one flying around this
Yeah.
spring, and I saw it in her neighborhood.
Yeah.
Sure. As a matter of fact, in doing some of this research, I'm trying to come up with, some ads and things like that about the feed mill and this, that, and the other thing. And a lot of what you do find is that Samuel Wegner killed a 3-foot snake on the Ironstone.
I saw
I'm
that
like,
too.
okay.
That was, I love that.
I'm like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
that was big news.
Back then it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been very helpful though, because especially towards like the Pine Iron Works, not so much in the 1700s, but in the late 1800s, early 1900s. The gentleman that ran this mill. We are supposing through one newspaper comment, it looks like he may have worked at the grist mill that was at the Pine Iron Works location.
Oh, okay.
So, if anybody has been to Gracie's restaurant, which
Yep.
is fantastic, that used to be called the Foundry, and I know that has historical ties to the Pine Iron Works.
It was the office building or the bookkeeper's
Counting room,
the
yeah.
counting room.
Yeah.
For
What Gracie's was?
For the furnace.
Okay. I used to
was
work
there.
there.
Well, you used to work
Nice.
I
there?
bartended there for a short time. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so
It was
know
a great
there.
place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for a while though.
Oh, you can't miss the bacon wrapped shrimp. I mean, really.
All the food there is good.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's excellent.
Gracie would have it no other way.
I'm going to turn off the slideshow. People will see me again. But it's great. Now, here's somebody from Glocker Realty Insurance saying that they think Glocker sold the creamery.
We
Oh.
did a bunch of years back. That's right. We did.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of, this is like,
Not a bunch of
this
years.
is all the local connections
Yeah.
that go on, right?
When she said it, I
Great
thought
stuff.
so too, but I didn't want to say if I didn't know it was true. But
Here's the one thing I'm going to do too, because I know there's two guys that I know in Pottstown that study the area of this, study the history of this area extensively. And the one guy's name is Todd Bainbridge. He's a friend of mine down
Okay.
in Pottstown, and he studies all of this stuff and looks around. I did see that man's store was located at the corner of Charlotte and Oak. So that's the same corner where the Pottstown Florist is. And then there's
Yes.
a little bodega or corner store right across the street from that.
Yes, the White House. Yes.
Yeah, and then across the street from where the florist is a building that used to be a furniture store that kind of has some stuff off the back.
Okay.
Now that building, the building there at that corner of Charlotte and Oak, where the corner store is, that building was a bakery at one point in time.
Oh,
They were
okay.
baking. They were doing baking and stuff in there.
Okay.
So I don't know the time periods of that, but I'm going to turn you on to some people who
Yeah.
might be able to help you out, help you figure some of that out. Another good family friend of mine is a guy by the name of Jack Beaver.
Okay.
And Jack is the manager for Pottstown Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
And because the cemetery is linked up with churches and things of that nature, he gets a lot of records from churches and from family history and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And over the course of the years, he has a huge file of information on different families, different businesses,
Right.
and everything else. I'll plug you into Jack, too, after the show.
That would be great.
Yeah, stick around. I'll give you those guys' contact information. I think you should
Absolutely.
reach out to them. They might be able to help you out.
That would be much appreciated. I mean, the best thing that I have so far is, like I said, the historical societies. Dave Kearns in Pottstown.
Yeah, Dave's a good guy.
He's awesome. He,
Yeah.
tolerates my phone calls every few weeks.
I sold a building on High Street that was called the International Order of Patriotic Americans.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah. It was kind of like a Masons or like an
Yeah.
Right.
Oddfellows
Okay.
type thing. And we went up into the attic with the owner. The woman that sold that was the daughter of the man that owned Strand Shoe Stores
Okay,
that was
yeah.
in that building.
Yeah.
And she took me up to the attic and said, "There's a lot of old stuff up here. You should probably take a look at it." She's like,
Right.
"I've poked around a little bit, but I've never looked at this extensively." So her and I went climbing up into the attic, and we found all this old stuff, books for
Oh
these
my
different
goodness.
that talked about the rituals of this organization.
Right.
And we found some of their stones and some of the other icons that they were
Wow.
using for some of their rituals or their services. And Dave Kearns was the guy that we made contact with the Historical Society.
Okay.
He came up there with us and rescued a bunch of the stuff and then took
Right.
it back over to the Historical Society. But
Yeah.
Dave's a good guy.
They have Pottstown has an enormous, very well documented repository
Oh,
of
there's
everything. I
tons
mean,
and tons of
I
stuff.
made an appointment with Dave, and when I went there, he had everything laid out for me
Yep.
and pretty much, kind of free reign of the place. May I
Yeah.
look at this? Yeah, sure, no problem. And it was, a place that I've been really wanting to get back to.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and just from the short time I'm talking to you, you seem very interested in history. I mean,
Right.
extremely.
Passion.
So
you
yeah,
can
Yeah.
tell.
yeah. So
And-
so that must really be like really exciting when you.
It
get to
is.
do
I
something
mean,
like that.
because every little thing that he mentions, and I mentioned to him, he follows up on it, and I have to give a little bit of a plug to the Anselma
That's
Mill.
what we're here for.
Yeah,
That's,
give the plug.
that's what we're here for.
Dave Rollenhagen down at the grist mill at Anselma.
Yes.
If you've never been there, and when they open in April, it's a great family trip. They have walking trails and stuff, but Anselma Mill is a fully functional grist mill, and it is
Very
very similar to ours. The Hearst framework that's inside, where the stones sit and a lot of the action happens. It's just a great place to go and visit, with the family, take a few hours and, walk around and tour the place. But they've been a great resource. And of course, Nathaniel Guest at Colebrookdale, he's helped me get in touch with a lot of people, that have historical contacts in the area. Susan Sparrows, there's just a bunch of people that have been a huge help.
So again, it goes back to, on every show, we just want to reiterate this because there are new watchers on each show. There's
Right.
people that have tuned in just to see
Yeah.
you. But one of the purposes of this show was to create a way for local businesses and organizations to work together to support the local community.
Yeah.
To make those networking connections that we weren't able to necessarily make because the shutdowns for COVID,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And just to hear you talk, there's so many connections. There's so much stuff coming up in my mind. And that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that other people out there are watching, are listening and hearing, and making their connections in your mind too. And that they're going to support these organizations like Alyssa, who was here earlier. They're going to support your efforts to try to learn more about your historic property.
Yep.
And patronize some of these businesses and organizations once they're open. And just to kind of bring that thought full circle, is when you talked about Anselma Mill, after I got out of college, I became a park ranger
Okay.
because I had studied political science and American history in college and wanted to get involved in parks through my knowledge and love of history. And I got a job. My first full-time park ranger gig was down in Chester County. And one of my mentors down there, Jane Davidson, was instrumental in getting Anselma Mill
Oh.
restored and open.
Great.
So that's
Yep.
great.
Yeah.
So hearing your story is jogging my memory and helping me make all these connections. Hopefully we're doing that for the people that are watching and for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And for the people watching, if you're passionate about history and you'd like to help Jen with her efforts to restore this, don't forget you can go to GoFundMe and look up Glendale Flour Mills and make a donation because she needs help to do this. She can't do it all by herself, right?
Yes.
And with her husband.
Yes. Trying to
So,
preserve the history
yeah.
is really.
It's not like just slapping a couple things together. It's
Right.
preserving. It takes a lot of money, a lot of effort.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Marlo Wiedenball.
Oh, Marlo. Hi.
She's saying hello. This is a very interesting show for her. Hopefully it is for everybody else. Chris Golden, that is my lovely girlfriend. She heard you talking about the snakes, and that perked her ear up.
In a good way or a bad way.
She loves snakes.
Oh, she loves
No,
snakes.
she
Oh,
doesn't.
no.
I'm just joking.
We haven't found a 3-foot one yet, just a lot smaller ones.
Oh, there's some
But
back
when you
there.
do, we'll make sure we get it in the Mercury or the
Yeah,
Boyertown
the
Times.
Well,
the Boyertown Times might have room for that. No offense, Boyertown
we could
Times.
bring
Call it
back-
into sound off on the Mercury.
I think they need to bring back a historical corner or something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
a history
seriously.
corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
That's another person that you might want to try to reach out to, and I can help you make that connection too. This just popped in my mind as I know Mike Snyder, who's the historical writer for the Mercury.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so there's a couple of people I think
Mike can
plug-
come on out for a tour. He's welcome anytime.
Yeah,
Any-
let me see if I can help you get
Okay.
plugged into some of these people.
Yeah, and note to everyone too. I mean, I'm talking about people looking in their attics and their basements and things like that. I have no problem digging around in someone's attic to help them move things out that they don't want any longer.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Anything historical that relates to this area, Southeast Berks County or whatever, we would like to archive that, make a digital record of it, and
Right.
then like I said, we have a lot of storage room to put these things. So
So
And
you
then-
could reach. They could reach out on Facebook at Glendale Flour Mill.
absolutely,
Yep.
message me on there. My number is on there, my phone number. Email address is JENN@GlendaleFlourMills.com, and I'm pretty quick to respond. So
I want to go out there.
absolutely.
Like, I'm psyched. I'm going to call you for a tour. I want to see
Anytime.
this stuff.
It's
When you
not
take
like
a tour,
I
I'm
might.
taking a tour.
I'll bring my fishing pole and I can
Yeah.
go fishing
You
in the
might
backyard
only get
when I'm done.
shiners right now. I don't know.
care. Doesn't matter.
It's a beautiful, relaxing place. So
What's the coolest thing you found on the property so far
let me see.
for you? I mean, you're
Well, I think for me, the interior of the building, the
just-
mechanics,
yeah.
because in that area we've suffered a lot of flood type damage. Now the building was built to have water running through it, which is very fortunate. But the grounds and things like that around, the creek banks and stuff, they do suffer a lot with the flash floods and things like that. But so getting in there and trying to put pieces back and seeing the mechanical, nature of how everything was done, it's amazing what it took to get things done. And a friend of ours, he's found some pretty cool little, doodads, but
doodads are always fun.
yeah, I'm looking for things like if I could just find parts of the water wheel. We do have a piece of the dam is still there at the water's edge too.
Okay,
And of course, every time we get a
like
good
part of the
rain,
structure.
yeah. Every time it rains, that changes a little bit, but we kind of have that protected so it doesn't get washed out. And
Nice.
yeah, so there's some
And
really
you have pictures
cool.
of the dam?
We do have pictures
Do you
of
have
the
them
dam.
up anywhere?
Not yet. If you have one of my flyers, which you could download or I could email, there is a picture in here with the dam intact, which probably goes back to the early 40s. Some of the families that have owned this property, there was a Doherty family that owned it. Of course, the Wagner. I know there was a relative of this Samuel Wagner. I believe his name is Mark Wagner in Bechtelsville, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't had any luck in getting back in touch with him, but Bonger Zones owned this place also, and Kratzer. So most recently, Gordon and Angie Kratzer. Gordon used to sell coal, the Reading anthracite coal from that building. And
You're getting a comment from David March.
David,
He's saying that his triple great grandfather built the mill.
absolutely,
Matthias Levengood.
that is correct.
So he's somebody who been working with?
Yes, he's been in touch with us. And actually, David.
So he built it in 1838 then?
Yes.
Okay.
That is what's on the date stone. Yep.
He's talking about a Geiger counter, but I think he means a metal detector. Have you done any metal detecting there?
A very little bit, not
Right.
extensive,
My son will
because, well, I'll tell you, the problem we have is it's just too wet down there a lot of the times.
Really?
Because of being in the valley and being creekside, we really have to wait, for dry days, because when you try to dig, everything collapses in. And
Gotcha.
yeah.
So you got to be really careful about what you're doing down there.
Yeah, and being creekside.
You just don't want people popping by and digging holes.
Definitely
mill.
not. No, we definitely don't want to do that.
Right.
No.
It's super
Yes,
interesting, man.
It is.
We
Yeah.
could talk all night, but I think there's a couple other things we got to
We gotta get to a couple more things, right?
Don't go anywhere.
All
Stay
right.
here with us.
Okay.
Because you might hear us say something that you know about.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do? You want to do Ask the Realtor?
Let's do Ask the Realtor. Yeah.
All right, let's do that. I'm going to put the sign up for Ask a Realtor. And I'll tell people this is how Ask a Realtor works.
Yeah,
on
explain it to 'em.
Tuesday, sometime on Tuesday.
And this is when we're at Glocker. When we're out somewhere else, we don't do it because we want to give more time to the place that we're at.
Right.
Yeah.
One day when they get their museum and everything set up, we've
We'll
got to
be
go
there.
over there.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So on the days that we do not go on the road, the days that we're home for our home games,
Our home games, yeah. That's
we
good.
will put up a post on Tuesday and it'll say, Ask the Realtor. You can ask us anything related to real estate. Anything.
Anything.
Let your
There's
imagination run
There's
wild.
endless questions.
Endless
Yeah.
questions. If every single one of the questions will be answered,
Yes.
usually by our broker, possibly by another one of the experienced real estate agents that we have here, every question will get answered. The question that we highlight on the show, the person who asked that question gets $10 Wawa gift card.
Right. Just for asking a question.
Just for asking a question.
Please. Right?
Absolutely.
So on Tuesday, log on to Glocker Real Estate Insurance, look for the Ask a Realtor post, and then ask the realtor a question.
Okay.
If your question's picked, you get a $10 gift card to Wawa.
It doesn't
Come
get
on.
any easier than that. And at the very least, you get your question answered
At the very
by a
least.
professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a couple of shorties out.
It's not your buddy at work that says,
Right.
"Oh, I'll tell you
Yeah,
about real
just,
estate."
I'll tell you what.
Because there's a lot of people. I talk to a lot of my clients, and they have people at work that always tell them these
There's
crazy
always somebody.
things.
There's always somebody. There's always somebody.
Yeah.
So what's
So-
the question this
So
week?
tonight's question comes from Valerie Elizabeth.
Just won $10.
Just won $10. That's all, already.
She's buying lunch.
So she's looking to buy her first home, and she's asking about working on her credit score. And she wanted to know what credit score does she need to purchase a home?
A minimum credit score.
Minimum credit score, this is a simple answer. 1, 2, it's 660.
That's the minimum.
It was 680, I believe.
Uh-huh.
And if any lender out there says knows different, comment.
Yeah, let us know.
But 680 was after the recession.
Okay.
They changed it to 680. It was down to 620, I believe. And I believe they did bump it down to 660 now. So
Right.
660 plus, you're good. You're good to go.
Okay.
Okay.
I would say this, you want to get your credit score as high as you possibly can.
Oh, that's true because you'll get a better deal.
We were talking to our young friend before the show.
Yeah, Alyssa was getting schooled
Getting a
by
little advice.
by Matt here.
But the credit score, I do want to say this because
Yeah.
people should understand. The credit score affects everything.
It influences everything.
It
yes.
influences everything. Things you wouldn't even think about. Your insurance premium can be affected by your credit score. Mm-hmm. Some jobs require you to have a certain credit score. When I worked in law enforcement, if you had bad credit, it would provide for when you were going through your background investigation. If you had poor credit, there was extra scrutiny involved in that.
Oh, really?
Because they were worried that you might be compromised.
Okay.
More easily compromised because you were hurt for money
Right.
or couldn't manage your money.
Right.
So the credit score affects a whole lot
Interesting
of things
take.
in
I
your
never,
life.
I never heard that before.
Yeah, right. It's a lot of areas that people don't think. So you should really try to get your credit score as high as possible.
Yep, and keep it up there.
And there's different ways to do that.
It's not easy, but it just takes a little bit of.
Listen, I work with a woman named Laura Mabry.
Mm-hmm.
She's a certified credit counselor through Housing and Urban Development.
Okay.
She's one of the few people in the country that has that certification. If you want to work on your credit, reach out to me here at Glocker Realty and Insurance. I can get you plugged in with Laura. She does an excellent job. If you follow her instructions, your credit score will improve. I don't think she's allowed to say that, but I'm telling you.
That's great information.
If you listen to her, your credit score will improve.
And there are particular lenders that I work with and you work with as well that would also help someone just improve
give
it
them
enough.
some advice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. It doesn't take a whole lot. It just takes I don't know, a little bit of
I've seen people improve their score within
Quickly.
3 or 4 months,
Yeah,
which is
3 to
typically
6 months, yeah.
1 credit or 2 credit reporting cycles.
Right. So it's very possible to get it up there and get it up there pretty quickly. The other part of the question is she wanted to know. Let me see. Looking at the question again.
Wasn't it something about financing?
Yeah. Hold on.
How much money you need for a down payment?
Yes,
I think
that's what
it
that's
was.
the down payment money she's asking about. How much she has to save for down payment. Well, that depends on what kind of loan you're getting.
Yeah, I would just also describe that as being that would be part of what your investment strategy is,
Okay.
right? But your personal, because like you're saying, there's different loan programs.
There's many different loan programs. I mean, you got your conventional, you got your FHA,
And the
you got your
convention-
USDA.
Right.
That's the three
tradition-
major
yeah,
ones. But
right.
still, in with each of those, there's different variations.
There's different ones.
Yeah.
So conventional. I'm sorry, I talked over you.
No, good.
Conventional, FHA, VA,
Oh,
USDA,
VA also. Yep.
and there's different loan programs under each one of those. The traditional, conventional is 80-20.
Yeah.
So you would need 20% of the purchase price to put down on the house.
Right.
That's what people traditionally think about.
Right.
But you don't have to have a traditional 80-20 conventional loan anymore.
Yes.
There's we were talking before the show, there's 97% conventional
And in
financing.
layman's terms, I guess, 97% means you just had to put 3% down.
3%
3%
down.
of whatever the value of the house is.
Yeah,
Whether
so-
the price of the house is.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's different types of loans. The ones that I was talking about are called portfolio products. A portfolio product is a loan product that is developed by an individual bank to give to their customers.
Instead of a government-backed loan.
That's correct.
Right.
And if the bank is creating that loan program, they can set their own guidelines.
Correct.
Now, a lot of them do follow the government guidelines, but there's some flexibility that they can build into them if it's their own loan program.
Yes. Yep.
I work with several different banks that you can get a 97% conventional loan for first-time home buyers.
Right.
Now, a lot of that stuff, if it's your second house or you're selling something to get something else, they're a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But depending on your credit score, there might be something for you.
Right. And then just to go to the extreme, USDA loans, which you can't purchase any house in a USDA loan, and there's all kinds of guidelines and everything. But it's
mostly
100%.
built on- yeah,
It's 100% finance loan.
that's correct.
Yeah. So there's no money down.
There's no
Yeah.
money down on
Yeah.
this. And the VA loan program works very similarly. You do not have to put any money down on a VA loan. So if you're a veteran and you have enough service time to qualify for a VA loan, that's 100% financing
Right.
too.
So I think that covers Valerie Elizabeth's question.
Yeah.
She gets a $10 gift card to Wawa.
She just got I don't know how many. What's a shorty these days? $5 or whatever. She just got
She
herself
definitely
two
got
shorty
yeah,
hoagies, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hoagie Fest.
Hoagies.
Always love Hoagie Fest. But thank you, Valerie, for the question, and we appreciate it. And we will follow up on that if you have any more questions. Right?
Yep. And then Jennifer Seville, our producer, wanted to let everybody know that post goes up on Tuesdays at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. Wake up early. Get on there first.
Get on there first. Get your question in the queue.
Yeah.
What I've noticed is some weeks there's only, like this week, there was only two
questions. Yeah. You got a 50-50 chance.
There was one week when I asked a question. I couldn't win the Wawa gift card. I just asked the question. I wanted to know.
People are afraid to be the first ones.
They are.
Yeah.
But if you're the first and the only,
You got it.
$10.
It could be the silliest question.
Don't matter.
Yeah, but you'd win. Okay. So, How much time do we have left, Matt? Are we over time?
We're over time, but we were late.
We were late,
on,
so
it balances out.
All
We're
right.
still within the hour.
Okay.
So you wanna,
Yeah, I'll
Jeff?
Yes.
What's going down in Boyertown?
Well, I'll tell you, Matt, what's going down in Boyertown. That is my blog on my website, jeffknowsboyertown.com. Each week, I put out the events that are happening in and around Boyertown, Pennsylvania. So if you're looking for something to do, go to the website, check out the blog, or you can subscribe, and it will be sent to you each week in your emails. That makes it super duper easy. So this week, I always highlight something or talk about something. Sometimes I talk about historic properties, such as Jen's. Sometimes I talk about what's going on in Boyertown, some events that's going on. Sometimes I talk about what's happening in the world. Today, I'm talking about how we all live in this world right now where, and Jen was experienced this, when the world shut down for, last year, that your kids were at home, people are working from home, we're all together, stuck in these houses, and we're trying to get stuff done. But how do you get it done when you're trying to watch your kids and you're trying to work? And, I fall into
doesn't
that.
even need to be COVID time.
I know, that could be any time, right?
Are you
It could be
kidding
any-
me? I got 3 kids that all play sports, man.
That's true too. Yeah, you're trying to run from here to there.
Oh, my
So
God.
how do you find the time? How do you how do you get your stuff done, your priorities done
I don't
throughout
know.
the day? Exactly.
Can't help
So
you.
I think that's a question that many people ask, right?
Yeah.
So I looked into this a bit, and I found many different websites that had professionals talking about how to cope with this, and so that's what I'm highlighting this week. Here are a couple ideas they have for trying to help you with your get your stuff done in a timely manner. First of all, they say, of course, say no to distractions. Try to avoid the distractions overall, whether it's your gadgets, whether it's your emails, anything. Just try to avoid it as much as possible and just concentrate on the work to get done. That's kind of probably self-explanatory, but we all end up, we're doing something and we're look at our phone.
Yeah.
And then you get taken to Facebook land.
Oh my God.
Or Snapchat land.
Or some rabbit hole. You're
Yeah.
looking up something, you wind up on Glendale Flour Mill's Facebook page.
Right.
The best rabbit hole to be in right now.
So you just try to avoid the distractions. I got into detail on this of how to do this, but I'm just highlighting the different things that successful people tend to do.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is hard to laser focus in on one thing because that's really the best way to get through your checklist, right?
Absolutely.
When people say that they're multitasking, the human brain really isn't set
Doesn't
up
like
for
to
that.
do it. No.
I struggled with that just today. I had 3 different things going on. I was trying to concentrate on one thing, and I kept getting distracted from it.
Right.
And I wound up having to make 2 different corrections on that document that I was working on.
Right.
Where if I would have just buckled down and focused in, I could have got it done like
Exactly.
that. It was a 1-page document, and I messed it up twice because I wasn't focused in on that.
Exactly.
I was checking my text messages from my clients, trying to look something else up on
Right.
the MLS, and then I'm trying to write a document for one of my contracts.
can't do all that at once?
You can't do all that at once.
Matt, I thought you could. I know I can't,
can't.
but I thought you could.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Cut your to-do list in half. So, you put yourself in this position that you're going to have, okay, I'm going to get these 30 things done today.
Right.
It's not,
No.
you're not realistic.
It's not realistic.
So cut them in half. Figure out what you have to do right now. And that day, that has to be done that day. That's your list right there.
Okay.
So
That's
break
good
it down,
advice.
cut it in half. Warm up your brain. So in the morning, you get that cup of coffee, you read a newspaper or stare at the TV, whatever makes you kind of wake up in the morning and just give yourself that time. That's what they're saying. They're saying don't say, okay, I got up this morning and I'm going to get to it right away. Give yourself that moment to breathe and get your brain active. And
A lot of a lot of successful people, politicians, community leaders talk about when they wake up in the morning, they do some kind of study, whether that's reading a book or reading the Bible or whatever spiritual work that they're into.
right.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
And that's definitely
I go
goes
through
along with
time
that.
periods
Yeah.
where I try to do that. I try to do a little bit of reading. Lately, it's been a lot of political news.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody avoids that,
Yeah.
but I try sometimes to do that.
Yeah. I do it. I definitely do it. I give myself that time
Okay.
because, I can't wake up and go right at it. I'm not that good.
Maybe was, not anymore.
Schedule your time. That's simple. I'm not simple, but they're talking about plan out your day a little bit more and say I'm going to take the time to do this at this time. I'm going to take the time to do that at that time.
Yeah.
Let it go. Any kind of stress that you're putting on yourself, the things that you can't change in life, let it go. Take it away because you
Blow
can't
it
change
out.
it. There's
Blow
nothing you
it
can
out.
do, and that stress will completely affect your workday or your life in
Do
general.
you ever find yourself
I find myself.
no, maybe this is a middle-aged problem.
Okay.
I'm claiming my middle age.
Wow, I'm not doing that
if
yet.
no one else at this table wants to claim their
I'm not
middle age,
claiming it.
that's fine. I'm not accusing anybody else of being middle-aged. I have found that since I've become a middle-aged man, there are times when you can't fall asleep at night.
Ah.
And I think what's happening is you're stewing over all that stuff that
You
you
are.
should just be letting go.
So I have no problem going to sleep. But you know what I do when I am stewing
If I
over?
want to watch a movie, I have no problem going to sleep.
I'm going to say one thing. Welcome to the world of being a woman because
You think that's
Am I
a woman?
right?
Do you think that's a woman thing?
yes, because my extremely hardworking husband falls asleep in under
Yeah.
2 minutes, and it takes me 40 minutes to fall asleep because you lay there and think about all the things you didn't get done and you should do tomorrow, and da, da, da. And then maybe you
But
get.
you seem to think that that's because of the woman's brain chemistry,
I
or do you
believe
think
it.
that's because of it's a cultural phenomenon? Like you're internalizing things because you have some ideal of what a woman should live up to every day.
I definitely don't have that.
So you think it's just the way
I think it's just natural
you're wired.
wiring
Yeah.
for a large percentage of women, adult women, because
Well,
it
there's
didn't
two
happen
votes-
until
there's
I got
two votes
older.
for that in this
Yeah.
round.
I think if my
So,
wife was
yeah.
here, she would agree too.
Right?
Yeah.
She does. She falls asleep pretty good, but she has her nights. And I on occasion I do too. But you know what I do, and I don't know if this helps. But I tell my son this because I tell my daughter this because she has trouble falling asleep. What I do when I'm having trouble falling asleep, I think of something that I like to do, and I think about it in detail. So like if it's fishing,
Yeah.
I'll think about everything. I'll actually picture myself going out and fishing and doing and everything about it. Anything I can think about, like I picture myself doing it. That's what I do.
And it diverts your attention.
Yep.
Off of
So
it.
I don't have that going on anymore.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's my idea. I don't know if it works for everybody, but it seems to work for me. Follow the 80-20 rule. Do you know what the 80-20 rule is?
I do. I mean, I know it from
Tw- Go ahead.
well, on a sales force,
Yeah.
80% of the effort is put out by 20% of the people.
Okay.
That's one of
It's
the
kind of
80.
the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
20% of what you do each day produces 80% of your results.
Okay.
So, try to eliminate the things that don't affect that 80%. Only 20. So only you're putting out 100% of stuff during the day, but only 20% is actually
What's leading
producing
you
something,
to the
yeah.
end goal?
Yeah. So try to cut that down. And then the last thing is listen to your body. Sometimes you get to the point in a day that you're just not going to be productive anymore. That's it. you hit a wall, and it's going to stay that way, no matter what you try to do.
Pull out the Wawa $10
say,
gift card and
Card.
go get a
Yes.
coffee.
Go get a coffee.
Yes.
Go get yourself a shorty.
No,
You
and
know what else?
just call it a day at that point. Say, okay, I did, I'm done, and now I'm going to go and I'm going to decompress, and maybe you only have to decompress for a bit, and then maybe you can go back and get a little bit more done if you need to.
You probably experience times like that when you're doing this historical research. I mean, sometimes there's only so long you keep your head.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's just another rabbit hole sometimes when you get, because of, the names, like, okay, Matthias Levengood built this mill. It's very hard to get information about him. So I move on to Mr. Wagoner. Oh, that's a little easier because it's newer. And then I find Mr. Wickersham and Mr. So-and-so. So I'm like, oh, wow. This is a beautiful old building. I found the Sanborn fire map, and it's like, okay, what is my original intent here?
Right.
And that was some advice actually given by some of the other historians that I've worked with, experts in the field. Stay focused, don't get down a wormhole.
Right.
Nice.
And one piece of advice that I learned when I was young and started working in corporate is someone told me, you have to be in charge of your own time. And it's okay to tell people, I can't talk right now, or just don't answer the phone. If you have something to do, turn this off, focus on it, get it done, and then you'll feel a lot better about yourself and,
Right.
Getting things done and have more time for other people. But be in charge of your own time and dress for where you want to be were the two most important
That's good advice.
advice that I
Absolutely, yeah.
had. Yep.
So if you're trying to figure out how to be more productive during your day, take a look at this. This is not my ideas. These are successful people's ideas, and what they do to
Right.
get through the day and have a productive day at the end.
When we were really dealing with the shutdown at first on the other podcasts that I do, Porchcast Pottstown, we spent a lot of time talking about mindfulness. And a lot of those practices have a lot of overlap with the
Sure, they
mindfulness
do.
practices.
Yep.
That can keep yourself centered and de-stressed and
Yep.
whatever else. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good stuff.
Yeah. As for events, we got the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. They're having selfie days.
Nice.
That's tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
Thursday, and Friday. So what they're doing? This is a raffle of sorts. You go there, you go to the museum, you take the craziest, most interesting picture you can think of, selfie, with your favorite vehicle or item there at the museum, and then you post it on Facebook with hashtags. What are the hashtags? Hashtags roadside selfie or museum selfie, and then that will enter you to win a free membership to the
Nice.
museum. Yeah.
You got to go over there and check
It's
those.
such a cool museum.
We
I
had
mean,
those ladies. The ladies from there came on.
they were
Great
fun.
show.
They were fun.
Talk about people that love history.
Oh,
Big time.
yeah.
And just really good conversationalists, a lot of energy, and they're doing some really neat stuff over
They
there.
are,
I
and it's the
subscribe to their
coolest
YouTube
museum.
channel. I watch their videos now.
Uh-huh.
Don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel,
Right.
Blocker Realty and Insurance. But they have some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the guys from there, one of the historians or one of the volunteers that works over there, has an interview with one of the members from Pink Floyd.
Yeah, right.
I can't think of which
I
guy it was.
I can't
but
either, but
had an interview. So Boyertown is interviewing Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
On that,
That's
it was,
awesome.
It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So check those.
So Thursday, Friday,
out.
they open 9:30 till 4. Go take your selfies with
Yeah.
your favorite vehicle.
and win a free membership.
And yeah, it would be a great membership to have too, because I mean, you could go there so many times. It's huge.
Yeah, they have a lot of cool
They have
stuff
so
over
much
there.
stuff in there.
Yeah, I want to go over there and go to the diner when they start doing that again. They open up the Fagley's
Yeah,
Diner and they
yeah.
serve pie and coffee.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll broadcast from there too.
I think
I see it in our
we've-
future.
Yes,
We
we're
talked
definitely
about it.
gonna. We talk about that. We got to circle the back with them.
Yes. Okay, Glocker Real Estate and Insurance is
Yes.
doing a giveaway as well. A winter bundle basket giveaway.
That's the one you can see in the background, right there.
Yep.
It's worth over $75.
$75, and it's so easy to enter. But I'll tell you what else is in it. There's wine in it. There's a $20 gift card to Brakeman's Cafe, and also a tumbler from Brakeman's Cafe, a blanket, and a candle.
I see it's a
all good
coconut
stuff.
scented Yankee candle. That's what it looks like to me.
Brakeman's Cafe is in Boyertown, Pennsylvania, by the train tracks on
Yeah,
Washington
right across
Street.
the street.
Yeah.
And they just expanded, right? Didn't they do some
Yes.
expansion?
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that's really neat. And then Jen and Jill, our real estate and insurance assistants, were over there for lunch the other day. I saw their post on Facebook. They said it was fabulous.
Their food is so good. It's so good.
fabulous.
Yeah. Have you tried it?
Yes, and I'm a fan of the toddy as well. The iced toddy drink is very good.
Nice.
All
Yep.
right.
So the basket is available. All you have to do is like the post in Glocker Real Estate Insurance. There's a post for the giveaway. Just like it. That enters you one time. In order, if you tag 3 friends in the comments section, that will enter you to win a second time.
Right.
Yep. So once, all you have to do is like it. Second is you just have to put 3 friends' names in it. That's it.
Tag the 3 friends that you're going to take to lunch with the gift.
Or that they'll take you to lunch in case they win.
That's there
right?
you go.
Yeah. It's
Get your
win-win
little
then.
Win,
right?
win. That's like a
Win, win,
grand
win,
slam of wins.
Yeah.
You're putting 3 runners on base.
So they're going to pick that on Friday morning at 9 a.m. So get in there now and do your likes and do your tags
Get her done.
and make sure you get entered. There's no reason not to. Colebrookdale Railroad is doing their Snowflake Special train ride this Saturday and Sunday. I think it's just this Saturday and Sunday.
It snowed today in Pottstown. Did it snow up
it did
here in
snow here,
Boyertown?
yeah.
Little
Yeah.
snow squall.
Yeah, it was pretty good for a minute. But
I
I'm looking
know.
for the big one.
I was in my room and I had the curtains closed because I was working on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I opened up the door and walked out of my room and looked down the hallway out the window, and it was like
A tundra.
looked like a blizzard.
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
What?
Yeah. And the State Theater, Boyertown, which we were at last week, which we had a
Great.
good time with.
Great place.
Such a great place.
They're doing
Lots
a
of
lot of
history.
good work over there. A lot of good stuff. Good movies.
Yep.
Helping the community.
All positive.
All positive stuff.
Yeah.
And our number 1 fan,
Chopper.
Go visit Chopper at Boyertown at the State Theater.
So they're having News of the World, which is a new Tom Hanks movie.
oh,
First run
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Tom Hanks. It's got to be good. I don't think I've ever seen a Tom Hanks movie that I didn't like. I really don't think so.
I can't think of a bad one.
No. Got to be good.
What was the name of the sitcom that he was on?
Bosom
Buddies.
Buddies.
Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, yep.
Chopper's watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
Is he
tuning
watching?
in, Chopper.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Chopper. How you doing? All right. So that's all I got. That's what's going down. Of course, there's a lot more. Just check out the blog. There's a lot more going on. That just highlighted a few items for tonight.
Right on. I don't think I know anything right off the top of my head that's going down in Pottstown, but I'm sure you'll have something on your blog that's going on in the
I
general
check in
area.
Pottstown. Yep.
Yep. I will say this: tomorrow is Thursday. That means it's Porchcast Pottstown. That's my other.
Porchcast, Pottstown.
That's my other podcast.
Watch
we'll
it.
be on at 5:00, and we're traveling to Blue Zen Wellness Collective
Oh, that would
on
be cool.
South Charlotte Street.
Yeah.
We're going to talk to Pam Doherty, who is the managing partner at Blue Zen Wellness Collective. So tune in to Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate or Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube tomorrow at 5.
Excellent. All right. Let's call it a night.
Let's do it.
All right. So, Jen, thank you for coming in, and thank you for
Thank
sharing
you.
your history.
Yeah, thank you both.
Super,
With us?
super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when anybody's riding the Colebrookdale this weekend, we'll probably be there working, so give us a wave.
Give them one.
All right.
Thanks for coming. Really, go and check out that Facebook page, Glendale Flour Mills. if you know anything that can help them, or if you can plug them into somebody who you think can help them along the way, getting their museum up off of the ground, contact them.
And don't forget the GoFundMe account. Just go to GoFundMe, and it's Glendale Flour Mills Preservation.
I'm going to put the link back up for our friend Alyssa.
Alyssa. Let me see if I can say it again. Yakobachi.
Yakobachi.
All right.
Yakobachi. Check out Alyssa's page. Like I said, there's going to be plenty of links and ways to find her.
And help her become Student of the Year.
Student of the Year.
Yes, we want Alyssa to be the winner.
She's if nothing else,
yes,
she's got to beat that 30,000 mark.
Right.
Help her get over that hump.
Right, because you always want to beat the previous.
You have to.
Always have to. Yeah.
Have to. That's a big
She'll do
challenge.
it. She'll do it with your help.
Help the
right?
kid get it done.
Yes.
I'm Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate.
And I'm Jeff Frederick at Glocker Real Estate.
This has been the Cast at Glocker. You can find us every Wednesday at about 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock-ish. And please join us and be part of the conversation. Actually, say hi to whatever.
We had some people that made their comments.
We appreciate that.
That helps us get the message out.
We don't. It's not just you and I and whoever the guest is. It's you as well.
That's
in
right.
Facebook and YouTube land.
That's right.
Yeah, we like it.
Like, subscribe, share, help us get the message out. It is important. We're trying to support your local businesses and your local organizations.
All right.
Every Wednesday at 6.
Every Wednesday at 6-ish.
The Cast at Glocker. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.